Hi, my name is Sarah, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite music videos by one of my old groups, Day6. So this is the third time that I'm filming this video. I still haven't figured out what the best format is to do this. I've had the idea for this series for a while, and I've been working on it for a while, but as you can tell by the time it has taken me to actually upload this video and the fact that this is the third time I'm filming it, I'm struggling. So I'm just gonna try and sit here and talk to you and then figure out in editing how to show you what I'm actually talking about. I don't know. We'll see how it works out, I guess. Before I get into this video, if you want to, feel free to subscribe and like, but of course you don't have to. And also you can do that after watching the video when you actually know if you liked it. Yeah, as you can see by the title, today's video is Letting Go. I'm not going to be playing parts or the whole music video in this video, so if you haven't seen it, be sure to go watch it. The link is in my description, so you actually know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it. Why this music video is one of my favorites by Day6. One of my favorites. I'm going to probably do multiple entries per group in this series because there are just too many good music videos that I all like for very different reasons, which I want to talk about. So aside from the fact that it's Day6 and they're my old group, and also that the song is beautiful, there are a lot of reasons why I like this music video a lot. So most importantly, something that you need to know before I can talk about it is something that happened in Day6's history, I guess. So Day6 were previously called Five Live, and there were 5 members. There were Sungjin, Jae, Youngtae, Junhyuk, and Wonpil, and they were more of an acoustic band, I think, but then they decided to actually be like a proper band, I guess, and they added a drummer, Dowoon. And then they were 6 members, and they changed their name or like debuted as Day6. But if you know any recent songs by Day6, you might notice that there are only 5 members. That's because one of them left, logically. Junhyuk, who was the keyboardist, left the group. I'm not going to go into details why he left the group. If you want to know, then you can Google it and figure it out. All you need to know for this video is that he left the group. And Letting Go was the first song and the first music video that was released after he left the group. The lyrics to the song were written by 2 members of the group, Youngtae and Wonpil. They write a lot of the lyrics for many songs. So all that I just said are the only facts I'm going to be saying in this video. Everything else is my interpretation or my way of understanding or my speculations. So none of what I say now is actually confirmed by anyone. The only things that are confirmed is that Junhyuk left and that Youngtae and Wonpil wrote the lyrics. So that's the only things that are factual, I think is a word. And if you read through the lyrics, you're gonna see that they talk about having to let a person go, not being able to help the person with their personal troubles, and knowing that keeping them around won't really do anything for them, won't help them, won't make them happier, which all correlates to the member leaving. And the first lines are, "I got something to say, let's meet up. Now we sit silent facing each other." And I can just imagine the moment when that happened. Actually, like when Junhyuk was like, okay, I need to tell my members what's going on, and he called a meeting and sat them down and was like, okay, listen. So yes, now that you know that Junhyuk left and maybe that you rewatched the music video, you're gonna notice a few things in the video. So there's a lot of imagery in the music video, which can all be interpreted in different ways, of course, but here's my interpretation. The music video starts with this beautiful shot with all the members standing in a circle, but there's an empty, well, there are a lot of empty instruments, but there's a highlighted empty instrument, the keyboard with the keyboard amplifier. There is no one playing it because, again, Junhyuk was the one who played the keyboard back then. Also, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, by the way. I think it's Junhyuk, but I might be wrong. And just the fact that they're all standing in a circle and the light is mostly on the keyboard, plus I think some of the members actually look at the keyboard. To me, this feels as if they're singing to or /and about Junhyuk. So this is already super sad if you know the backstory. Like, this is what a way to open this video. Empty keyboards and empty instruments in general are a common picture throughout this whole music video. And there's a bunch of meanings that I can associate with that personally. The keyboard is of course the most noticeable throughout the whole video because again, Junhyuk played the keyboard. And here's Wonpil on the synthesizer, which was his instrument before he took over the keyboard. So this is the first scene with a lot of instruments that I want to talk about. All of those guitars could, for example, represent all of the hours that they spend together training, practicing, improving their skills, basically breaking their instruments because they play them so much, so they're just improving. But it could also, of course, mean Jay working through his feelings of another member leaving, or in general, someone leaving, by being angry and destroying instruments. Then we have Sungjin being surrounded by a lot of microphones. So Jay is a guitarist, so he was surrounded by a lot of guitarists. Sungjin is also a guitarist, but he's also a vocalist. I mean, all of them are vocalists, but Sungjin is a vocalist, so he's surrounded by his instrument, which is the microphone, or like his voice. But another image I could see here is he's the leader of the group, and the way those microphones are placed, it reminds me of an interview, like when all of the like networks, channels push their microphones in someone's face. To me, it reminds me of the fact that he's a leader, and that probably when the news came out of Junhyuk leaving, everyone came to him and everyone was like, Sungjin, what's going on? Why is he leaving? Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you help him? Why is he not staying? All of those things, all of the questions at Sungjin, and he had to, take responsibility because he's the leader, and he had to answer those questions and speak to the media and speak to fans and speak to his other members about the situation. Another thing that the empty instruments could represent is the fact that they're technically all replaceable. For example, Doowon playing in the middle of all of these empty drums. Doowon is not the only person on the planet that can play the drums. So if he left, technically, they could just get another drummer. But the fact that those instruments are empty and only Doowon is playing the drums, on the other hand, shows how Doowon is really the only one who can play the drums in Day6. So there are just so many ways you can interpret all of these empty instruments, but I think for me personally, that's the way I like to look at it. And then another thing I noticed is, I'm gonna get into this later, but basically the scene where there are so many Day6s playing all of the instruments, the lighting, if you look at it, it's really light, so it reminds me of daytime. And the fact that the instruments are only occupied during daytime is also very interesting. It makes me think that during the day they're supposed to just do their job. They're supposed to play the instruments and make music and be on stage and be professional. So they're just gonna play their instruments as many times as they have to. But by night, as in the scenes where the light is not as bright and where it's more blue and more dark, there are no other people on the instruments. It's only during daytime that the other instruments are being played as well. As in, during the nighttime, during their breaks, they think about him and they only play for themselves, and they think about the empty instrument. They think about the fact that one of their members is missing. So those are all the ways that I personally interpret all of the empty instruments in the music video. Of course, there are other elements in the video as well. For example, the car crash scene. It could just be a separate story that they're trying to tell in this music video, though I don't really see anything else that connects this to anything. So I don't think that's it. I don't know what the director intended with this. I could personally understand it in the way of how if someone suddenly leaves, it like wrecks your life, or like it's like an event that you can't really intervene. The fact that Sungjin again is the one who's sitting in the driver's seat, as in like he is the one responsible for the mess, maybe could be a meaning. Again, Sungjin being the leader means he has to take all the responsibility for whatever happens in the group, and a member suddenly leaving, that leaves a lot of damage to fans and to the public image and all of those things. Him being on the steering wheel and then sitting next to the car, as in like he didn't have any control over it, even though he was steering and he's the one responsible. Maybe could be another meaning, I'm not sure. And then again, the ending, as I've already mentioned, they're all really sad. They're looking to the floor, they're looking at the empty keyboard. I mean, that's to me pretty obvious. Like, I mean, they're literally looking at the keyboard. Like, this has to be about their member. So that's all on the meaning of this, which is honestly the biggest reason why I really like this music video, because it's so well done. It's subtle. Like, if you didn't know about it, you might have not picked up on it, but I do like the fact that there's no other storyline in it. Like, it would have been very easy for them to do like a video similar to the whole storyline with the members each like being another character and stuff. It would have been easy for them to do like a video like that for this song, but they didn't, and I really appreciate that. But other reasons for why this is one of my favorite videos by Day6 is the visual effects and the production design and the editing. The whole video is really impressive in terms of production design and effects and editing. There's so much detail in that video. For example, all of those empty instruments, I mean, it must have been a lot of work to assemble all of those and to put them all up and make sure they all look good and are lit in a good way, all of those things. And the car scene as well looks really nice. Obviously, you can tell that the wall isn't a real wall because it's just like one single wall. But yeah, it looks nice. And then, of course, the shot that I was already talking about where there's like a million Day6s playing all the instruments. This is just so well done, and I love this. This is my favorite shot in the whole video because it's just so cool. There are a few moments when you can tell how they did it. The first time I saw that scene, I was like, how did they do that? How? Like, it looks perfect. There's no place that you can see at all that like anything was like green screen or like that they cut them out and like just pasted them on top of each other. But watching through that scene again, I did notice a few like little mistakes, I guess, or like evidences of how they did it. So I had to look through this video a bunch of times to really notice anything. But if you look at Jay here, really you have to look so closely. You can see this little white outline, I guess. Another thing is this square here by Dowon. It moves a little bit and you can just see like that there's something weird going on over here, like something is moving that shouldn't be moving, I guess. For One Pill over here, if you go frame by frame, you can see his head gets cut off here a little bit. I don't even know why, because there's no member behind him, but anyways. And then the biggest mistake I found, I guess, is Jay over here. His guitar head, is that what it's called? I don't know. It disappears over here in One Pill's legs and then comes back because, well, One Pill, they just pasted him over that J, I guess. And One Pill's foot is a little blurry and you can just see that some edit has been going on here. And then Dowon over here as well. You can see his drumstick and sometimes even his hand slightly disappears up here. But as you can tell, it's just such tiny things. You have to go frame by frame and look so closely. You have to search for this. You have to search for these things. This was like a Where's Waldo picture. Like, I was looking at every single member separately, trying to figure out where the evidence is, I guess. For example, also the moment with Sungjin where he's in the car, but then he's also in front of the car twice. So this is where they split the screen. So they recorded Sungjin on these opposite sides with this camera programmed the same way, and then in editing laid those two things over each other, because this is making a very slight curve downwards. The two Sungjins also singing in the circle of microphones as well. You can see like a few edits, which, I mean, that's really inevitable. If it wasn't there, again, I would have thought it was magic. You have to look really closely and it's just so well done, and there is so much attention to detail, as I already mentioned. You have to be a perfectionist to make it look that good, because they really try to erase all evidence of how they managed to do that. And the editing also, because I mean, this doesn't work without a good editor. You need someone who knows how to edit special effect shots. So this is just, again, so well done in the editing department. They have a lot of trick shots like that, and I appreciate that. And yeah, I don't think any green screen was used, which makes that even more impressive, because green screen is really the easiest thing that you can like do trick shots with. I'm calling them trick shots, but you know, like special effects like that. But they didn't use green screen, because I watched it behind the scenes and there's no green screen to be seen anywhere, which makes everything even more impressive. And then another thing that I really like is I like that you can see the other sets in the big shot where there's a million Day6s. It makes everything look a little less perfect and a little less staged, I guess, which also reflects the message of life isn't perfect and sometimes shit happens, which also again just grounds the whole music video. Like, if it was perfect and you couldn't see the cables that you can see sometimes, it would just look so fake. but this video is really about them and it's really personal and it's not fake at all. So I really like the fact that you can see cables and lights and C-stands and the other sets and all of that stuff. Plus, it also supports that whatever we're seeing on the screen is going on behind the scenes, as in a member leaving is going on behind the scenes. Okay, another thing that I really like about this video is the lighting. As I've mentioned before, the whole scene with the million Day6s to me looks like it's supposed to look like daytime. And then also the scene with Young K by the stairs and Sungjin in the car, all of that looks like it's supposed to be daytime. I feel like this is during the day and they're just doing their stuff. They're doing their job. They're playing their instruments all the time, all of these different settings, all of these different places. They are playing their instruments, they're doing their job, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Compared to all the other scenes where the light is really much darker and everything has a blue tone on it, and it just reminds me of nighttime. And as you can see, it's only them. There are no other thems playing any instruments. So what this represents for me is during the day, as I said, they're doing their job. They're being Day6, they play their instruments, they do their job, they sing their music. But during night, or when they're off stage, when they're playing for themselves, when they're practicing, all of those things, they are just themselves and they feel the emptiness and they know that someone is missing and that something is off. They think about how someone is missing, how they are not complete. Again, a way that I interpret this. Also, the nighttime scenes almost look like a garage because of the flickering lights. If you look at those lights, I think you could get to see them in a shot or two. It just reminds me of a garage for some reason, which is fun because they're a band. So it also kind of makes me think it's like a nod to their start. Like, we started as 6 people and we were a small group and we just played, to make music, and now we're here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. The garage thing also kind of ties in the car, but that's a long shot. And the flickering lights on the ceiling again make it look less perfect, less polished, all of those things that I already mentioned. And then something that ties the lighting in again is the camera work, because if you look at the scenes that are lit as in daytime, you'll notice that the camera is really steady and it seems to be always like on a tripod or on a crane or on a dolly or some kind of steady structure where it doesn't move a lot. It's just like a steady frame. For example, Sungjin, we just go like this with the camera. And then for Young K and Sungjin by the stairs, we just go back, forward and backward with the camera. And the big shot with all of them playing the instruments, it's just goes in. But it's not we're not going like this, which if you look at the nighttime shots, it's handheld. So that means the person was literally just holding the camera and going like this, which again kind of supports my idea of by day, we're going to be professional. We're just going to look straight ahead. We're just going to do our thing, go walk in a straight line, just do what we're supposed to do. And by night, we're going to let out all of our emotions. Also at night, I'm just going to call it Day and Night, which is a Day6 song. By night, we also get a few more close-ups of them. We get really close. It's out of focus a few times, kind of chaotic and emotional. It feels much more emotional during the night scenes. Yeah, so camera is another thing that I think supports the meaning of the story, but it also looks good. This shot is beautiful, especially the lighting. And I love that the amplifiers are sorted by height, and I like this composition. Yeah, so that's all the points that I have to make about this video. I have a list of things that I usually like about music videos, I guess. For example, lighting, as I spoke about, colors, sets, locations, set dressing, wardrobe styling, choreography, but choreography is not a thing with Day6. Music, editing, story, references. So those are kind of the things that I look at when I look at a music video. And yeah, all the things that I mentioned to you right now are the things that stand out to me in letting go. Yeah, everything just works really well as soon as you put a meaning to the music video. Basically, all the technical aspects of this video support the meaning behind it as I interpret it. Of course, I don't know how it was supposed to be interpreted. I don't know the actual meaning behind anything. But to me, this makes sense. To me, the decisions that were made on the technical level absolutely support the decisions made on the story level, I guess. I feel like everything supports it, and that's really interesting and really cool. It makes me think that I got it right, which I like. Also, let me know if you noticed anything else about the music video that you liked, or maybe even that you disliked. If you dislike the video, please let me know why. I would love to like hear other opinions about it as well. But yeah, those are my reasons why Letting Go is one of my favorite music videos. Let me know how you liked this video, if everything was clear to you. As I said, I filmed this twice before, and I think what I did now is probably gonna work. Just me sitting here talking and like having my points in front of me. Sorry if I wasn't looking into the camera a lot. I had to like look at my notes. Also, you might notice that this is a different format from my music video breakdown series it's one video so far. It is only one video so far because it's kind of difficult to only do a voiceover, because then I have to constantly fill up the frame with something, and that's really difficult. So I thought I would do it like this, where you can see my face as well, so I can just cut to my face at times when I don't have anything to show, even though I look like all over the place the whole time because I'm shy. But yes, please let me know how you liked this video, and if you have any feedback, that's of course very appreciated. Constructive criticism is always appreciated, just no unconstructive criticism. Is that a word? I don't know. Yes. Thank you for watching. Bye.